Can we talk about America's favorite subject about the separation of church and state?
Yes.
Can I know you're on the two side, I'm on the one side, but so there's no question I've ever been asked more than that in these past 6 years. Okay, so I just, in fairness, most people that ask it, they're not looking to have a conversation.
Yeah.
They're looking to make a statement and walk away. But certainly the very existence of my role perturbs people. So aside from the fact that we're going to save the state about $1 billion in tax savings just from the work that's being done, there's a bigger picture here, right? Which is the separation of church and state. I'm speaking to the choir, but because other people are going to hear and see this, is one of the most misdefined, most damaging things that's ever happened to the church. Because Thomas Jefferson, because some listeners still won't, it's a letter, we all know, right? It's a letter to Baptists, giving the greatest protections, by the way, that we will not have a national church and we should stay out of the business of the church. Yes and amen. All churches should say yes. But the fact that caused in society this siloing of we're going to go, because I think most people miss, and I don't know if you even thought about this, when we wake up, if you're in government, if you're in good government, and you're in the church, you wake up caring for the same people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times people think about that. Like, again, I think the government's over there. But we're caring for the same people that the church wants to care for, and actually, we have better information on them than the church does. And so what happened with that split of this tremendously misdefined phrase in a letter is that the church abdicated that role in history, and you know that when the role was abdicated of caring for, that's not something God's going to let go of.
Right.
So he keeps having preachers preach. They're like, well, wait a minute, we abdicated the role, but my heart still breaks for it. My eyes are still open to it. And so they are like, okay, we're going to get back into it. But we don't want to talk to the government because they're bad. And so there's no trust there. And so we're going to do it ourselves. And I always joke, like, we've got some pretty good-sized churches in Jacksonville. They would say, I'm going to start a foster care ministry. Okay. How are you going to do that? Well, Susie over there and Tammie over there and that guy over there, and they kind of know foster care, and we're going to talk to them, and then maybe they're going to go into some area that they think they're just going to go and try to help people. And I'm like, guys, do you realize that right now the Department of Children and Family knows every name, address, and story of every child? And now we can't give you that, but we can literally through Care Portal put them where you are coming eye to eye with the people. And I think it's blowing. I talk to. I don't want to exaggerate it, but it's often. Every couple weeks right now, I'm talking to another state about what's happening here. And it's because first they see a reduction in foster care of that size, they want to know about it. But two, they're starting to ask that question too. Well, why aren't we talking? And what? And so we, I think you know this, but like the very first thing we ever did as the Governor's Faith and Community Initiative was send a thank you note to 40,000 faith and community organizations and just said, we don't even know how to thank you. But we recognize that you're standing on the front line and you're saving the taxpayer dollars. And because I know no one ever wants to make it money, but my gosh, every blue and red state in America should be thanking them just for that. Because if they ever went away, day one, we implode in government. So I just think I've really come down to that's government's role is to allow the information to be upstream shared so that the faith institutions can do what they do and the whole ecosystem changes.
Yeah.
Do you think the government sees the value of that? Are they missing it as well, or is it just the church that's missing it? Like, does the government appreciate, I know you sent out, your office in Florida is doing that, but overarching, do you see is the government missing it, or is the government really like, hey, we see the value of you, we want to get engaged, and the church is just the one that's missing it?
No, they both are missing it.
They're both missing it.
Yeah, they're both missing it. I mean, this is not a defense of government, but because I've explained church and state for 6 years, it would be fun to know hundreds of times, I don't know how many times. It's always helpful for me to kind of give two pictures to people. One, if you think about government, and this will change everything for you, you got to know that most of government exists from the moment crisis ends to the moment crisis begins. From the moment crisis begins to the moment crisis ends. Right. Okay. Meaning that government has a very specific lane. If you just start thinking of where government exists, right? We come into an emergency with a crisis and we let go at the moment. Okay. So where does faith and community exist? Well, like they are prevention, they are love and compassion during, and they are reunification of community. Meaning that what government has gotten wrong, and you will look at me, probably turn the mics on, but Eric, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But the truth is, government spends all their time bailing a boat and never asking, where's the water coming from? Or do we need a new boat, which I would put on both ends of this. And so what's changed the game is that faith is limited by nothing. Faith and community can be part of any part of it. Government's the one that's limited. So we're going to have our little lane, and our lane is keep people safe, help them in their most desperate moments. And so, no, we have totally missed it because we didn't. And when I got there, I kind of joked. I was like, it's almost like being bilingual. There's a different language. As an example, we use James 1:27 in this time together. You don't use the word orphan in state government.
Yeah.
That's a no word, right? There's foster care, there's adoption, but there's no such thing as orphan. So even at our core of the thing that is called pure religion, the words are different. And that's a silly example, but it speaks to how there is a different language. And so government's saying, and this was the case, I'd go into an agency and I'd be like, what can faith, because all of a sudden I represent all these faith, what can I do? What can we do to help you? And they don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, what do you do? Like, well, everything. I mean, again, we're in every part of this thing. And so we've spent 6 years teaching government even to know what to ask for.
Right.
Or to start to look upstream or say to them, because I think this was the other model. There's 3 things I believe government does. I don't know if they do it well, but they do it. I was going to say well, but I was like, I should hold that. Money, right? We have a $113 billion budget. So we have a lot of money that we give away for organizations to do or employees to do. And 2, policy, right? We write policy that's for the greater good of Floridians. But the one that's never talked about, and this is just, I made this up, so is information. I mean, you know how much information we have on a daily basis? Yeah. And yet we're like, keep it. And Care Portal and Hope Florida are just starting to crack the door where DCF doesn't have to change its lane.
Right.
It just has to let some legal, information with permission. I mean, all those things
All
matter.
things,
Right.
Let it upstream. I mean, do you see it? Do you see why I keep using that phrase, simple but profound? This is not complicated.
Yeah.
Keep moving and leaving.